Welcome back to the King Films Logs for college football week 7, and let's get right into it with a recap of last week. And we had another successful week in the betting locks where we were up 1.7 units, and now we are almost up 12 units on the year. Here are the picks that we sent to our Discord over the 2 days. So let's start out on Friday, where we had Oklahoma State plus 12 against Kansas State. Oklahoma State has looked pitiful this year, but we had Oklahoma State here. They get the outright win over K-State in that one. Then Rutgers, Wisconsin, and Marshall, NC State, we get the right side in both of those. NC State looked impressive with their backup QB. That was a crazy one against Marshall there. Red River rivalry, I predicted we'd have Oklahoma outright last week, and as such, we had a lock on Oklahoma plus 5.5. That hits outright, as I mentioned. Ohio State pulls away from Maryland after a tough first half. LSU Missouri is a horrid bad beat, as we had Missouri plus 7, and then LSU up 3, gets a pick 6, goes to 10. Missouri kicks a field goal with a couple seconds left on the clock, which could have given us the push here since we got a great number at plus 7. This one ended at like plus 4 for Missouri, so really should have hit that one, but we don't. UCLA against Washington State, we had UCLA minus 3 outright, and they win it against Washington State pretty easily there. And then UCF Kansas, we also got that one right. And in the second page of betting locks, we had Kentucky at Georgia. I predicted Georgia would win, and they run away with that one, quite frankly. Kentucky was just not able to do what they were able to do against Florida against Georgia. And then we have Louisville plus 7. They win outright against Notre Dame, a pretty easy one for them there. Ole Miss gets away from Arkansas late. Arkansas has been in a lot of close games, but haven't been able to pull out many of them. They're really on the ropes for a bowl here, as they've got a tough schedule. We'll see what they can do over the next few games to determine that. Texas A&M we gave out as a lock plus 3.5. They are not able to get it done, and I think Alabama is a very gettable schedule now. Their only 2 real road games are at Kentucky and at Auburn, and then they get LSU and Tennessee at home. So I think Alabama's peaking at the right time here. Milroe played good against Texas A&M. This Texas A&M secondary, as I said, was not good, but Milroe was able to beat them just enough. Texas A&M offense was unable to overcome the Alabama defense, which we thought was good. Syracuse at UNC. UNC pulls away with that one. Iowa really looked pitiful here against Purdue, but they do pull away. Their receivers did not have a catch, and that just shows the state of this Iowa offense. They scrape by. The defense carries yet again for this Kirk Ferentz team. Fresno State at Wyoming. We had Wyoming outright. They win. Of course, in conjunction, we had the lock. Wyoming plus 5.5. Great win for the Cowboys. Now they'll go away to Air Force again this week in another high-altitude matchup. Then finally, Oregon State at Cal. Cal cannot cover the plus 9.5. There was a lot of stuff going on, but that one just comes up short. So once again, let's get back to our betting record. We've been positive 6 out of the first 7 weeks, including week 0. We're up 11.9 units on the year. Not bad. We've been held back by a couple bad beats, but let's just get better and keep beating these lines. So we'll have our free play of the day today, and I just want to remind everyone to check out the Discord. We've had 11 straight days without a loss in the Discord, so we are peaking at the right time. Link in the top right now. We've got Tulane and Memphis on the Friday night, and this is our Group 5 showdown of the week. I would like Memphis to win outright in the Liberty Bowl against this Tulane team. Both of these teams have been tested. Memphis' only loss is to SEC foe Missouri. All Tulane's is to Ole Miss. I think that the Liberty Bowl will be rocking for this one. I think Memphis takes it just because of that home field advantage. This is a pretty close game either way. Florida at South Carolina, SEC showdown. Both of these teams need this game just to stay relevant. Florida hasn't played Georgia yet. Really need this spot, but I think South Carolina is going to be ready to go. This is a revenge game out of last year. South Carolina got absolutely crushed last year. I think they'll be raring to go. Bounce back spot for South Carolina. I like them to take it outright. Then Iowa at Wisconsin. This spread might be surprising to a lot of people. It's like 9. I've got Wisconsin outright. We'll see how much they end up winning by. But Iowa without McNamara was not a sight to behold. It's going to be ugly on offense. Oregon at Washington. The biggest game of the week, arguably 8 versus 7 in the nation, College game day. I like Washington. They're absolutely bonkers receiving core. They've got Polk, McMillan, Odunze, and Penix. to get it done against a high-flying Oregon offense in their own right. Bo Nix and co. have been great this season, but I think Washington will just be able to outscore Oregon. This should be a great shootout. Absolutely epic environment in Washington. We'll see what happens in that one, but I like the Huskies. For now, Texas A&M at Tennessee. This one could have been a lot better of a matchup if Texas A&M won outright like I thought they would last week. They come up short. I like Tennessee at home in Neyland. Should be rocking. This will be an epic matchup on CBS here in the SEC. For both of these teams to even have a lick of contention in their respective categories, Tennessee needs this one. So they still get Georgia at home, so they're still very much in it. Need to protect their home field here. Kansas at OK State. OK State's coming off the big win against Kansas State, but I like Kansas here. We'll see if Jalen Daniels plays, but even if Bean is playing, I think that they can get it done here in Oklahoma State. We've got Wyoming at Air Force. High altitude battle, as I said. I think Andrew Paisley and Wyoming have shown a lot this season. They've had a brutal schedule, that one loss at Texas, and they were in it until the fourth quarter. Just didn't have enough with their backup quarterback in that one. But I like this high-flying Air Force offense. This one also a 9-point spread for any of you that like to bet these games. Very interesting spread there, but I like Air Force to win this one. Wyoming is kind of in a letdown spot after an emotional game against Fresno State. They've had a few emotional games this season. Texas Tech, Texas, App State also. Air Force has been pretty much cruising coming off the bye here. I like Air Force to win this one. Miami at North Carolina. This one will be a bare-knuckle brawl. North Carolina also had a close call with App State. I like Drake May and the boys to take care of business, but I'm not so sure because Miami coming off that brutal loss to Georgia Tech where all they had to do was kneel it. For my rankings purposes between teams, I'm just counting that as a win for Miami because you just kneel the ball and you win. But in terms of their actual resume, it was severely damaged by that. Van Dyke and co. are going to be getting after it with a chip on their shoulder and everything. So I'm not sure that this raucous home environment will be enough for North Carolina, but I'm tentatively picking them to win right now. Missouri, Kentucky, this one lost all of its luster last week as both of these teams lost. Missouri at least had a very good chance of winning. Kentucky just got blown up. I think both of these teams will have a chip on their shoulder, but I like Kentucky going back to Kroger Field to get it done. They remain the ranked team in the matchup, and I like them to win outright. Now we've got our lock of the week, USC at Notre Dame. This game also lost a lot of its luster. USC going to triple overtime with an Arizona team that's been pretty good, but they had their backup quarterback in at home. That was not a great play for USC. They dropped a ranking spot as a result. And Notre Dame just got curb stomped by Louisville. No offense, lots of turnovers for Notre Dame. Very sloppy game there. And this is going to be their fourth week in a row of playing a very emotional game. Ohio State, at Duke, at Louisville, all of those were emotional, and they lost 2 out of 3. I'm not so sure that they won't be utterly exhausted for this one, but Julian Shalele on the line, and I like Notre Dame to get it done. I think that their offense, while pitiful against Louisville, USC's defense isn't exactly up to par so far this season. I like Notre Dame to cover the -2.5 and beat USC here and issue the Trojans a debilitating loss going into the teeth of their schedule. Their next 6 games, 5 of them are against ranked opponents, the only exception being at Cal, which has proven a tough place to play. If you saw that Oregon State game last week, that one was back and forth, high-scoring affair there. So USC is getting into the teeth of their schedule. This is an absolute must-win for them, and I don't think they get it. Caleb will bounce back, but I don't think this defense can stop a thing, and I like Notre Dame to win that one there. Then UCLA at Oregon State. I like Oregon State here. UCLA coming off a massive win over Wazoo. Both of these one-loss teams trying to stay relevant in the Pac-12. Remember, there's no divisions. So the winner of this game means a lot because these are going to be 2 of the contenders coming down the stretch of the season. UCLA is a pretty brutal schedule. The only contender they really get at home was that Washington State game. Now they've got to go to Oregon State. They've got USC on the road later in the season. I like Oregon State to win this one here. Then finally, NC State at Duke. 2 backup quarterbacks playing here. I like Duke to get it done in the bounce-back effect at home. They got their bye week. NC State's Morris was pretty good last week, but I like Duke to get it done here. more well-rested. NC State was in an absolute brawl with Marshall. I like the Duke defense to step up. NC State's offense has been anything but potent this year. I think Duke can do just enough on offense to edge them out in this one. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe and comment your predictions below.